Hello, and welcome to the MyBFF Business Leaders Podcast, your new secret weapon for business success. Sponsored by MyBFF Social Media, Marketing, and Advertising. Make sure to hit subscribe. Now let's get started.
The deep dive. Really glad you're here with us today. We are about to jump into something absolutely critical for any business, really big or small, that wants to stay ahead, not just survive, but thrive. We're talking about the huge transformation happening right now in advertising and what it means for you specifically over these next 3 years. Now, this deep dive is brought to you by MyBFF Social, and we're pulling insights from a whole stack of sources, recent articles, research, even material like you'd find on the blog over at mybffsocial.com. So we've sifted through all this material, looking at the big shifts, things like AI, social media's evolution, and these really fundamental changes in media publishing. Our mission today, it's basically to cut through all the noise, pull out the most important nuggets, the key strategies, the tactics these sources say you really need to understand. Think of it as like your shortcut to getting up to speed on reaching your customers in this, pretty fast-changing world. We'll try to keep it engaging, maybe find a few surprises, but really stay focused on actionable insights drawn straight from the source material we've gathered.
Absolutely. Ready to dive in. Because it's not just shifting slightly, is it? It feels like the ground is really moving under our feet. There's a lot to unpack here from the material, and it feels incredibly timely.
Okay, let's do it. So the sources, they paint this picture of really rapid transformation. They keep mentioning the next 3 years as like a key window. What is it, according to the material, that's really driving this acceleration?
Yeah, the sources consistently point to, three main forces that are kind of hitting all at once, creating this perfect storm of change, you could say. And it seems particularly impactful for small and medium businesses, SMBs. You've got the huge advances in artificial intelligence, AI. Then there's the constant evolution, sometimes really unpredictable, of social media platforms. And on top of that, some pretty major changes in how media actually gets published and, consumed. They're not separate things either. They're all feeding each other.
Right. Okay, let's tackle the big one first then, AI. Everyone's talking about it. But the sources, they don't frame it as this scary thing that's going to take everyone's job, do they? It sounds more like a partner.
Exactly. That really came through across the different sources. AI isn't positioned as replacing the human. It's presented as an incredibly powerful tool. Think of it less like a replacement, more like having this super efficient assistant who's also amazing with data, right? Available 24/7. One source even used this analogy like it's handing you a double espresso for your workflow, which I kind of liked. It can handle stuff that used to take ages, drafting variations of ad copy, suggesting visuals based on what worked before, generating basic outlines for articles, or even analyzing sentiment from customer reviews to help you tweak your messaging. The material really highlights its strength in automation, the repetitive stuff, and analyzing huge data sets for patterns we might miss.
So it's mainly about being more efficient and using data better.
Efficiency, speed, and data power are definitely core benefits. AI can test tons of different ad creatives at once, learn from the results basically in real time, and then automatically tweak things like headlines or calls to action much faster than old school A/B testing. Plus, it can help you segment your audiences much more precisely, which, could make your ad spend way more effective. But, and this was a really key point, stressed across the sources, the real value, the magic, as they put it, comes from blending AI's analytical power with human creativity and judgment. AI can generate options, sure, but it doesn't get your brand's unique voice or your core values or those subtle emotional things you need to really connect with people.
Okay.
So you, the human, you're still essential for the strategy for injecting personality, making sure it all actually feels like your brand. The sources were very clear. Human creativity, critical thinking, irreplaceable for real resonance.
That makes total sense. It's not an either, it's a blend. Use the tech to boost what you do. Okay. Now, shifting gears a bit. Media publishing. The sources talk about traditional gatekeepers kind of losing their grip or things changing dramatically anyway. What did the material show there?
Yeah, this is where it gets really, really interesting, especially because it directly empowers brands. The sources describe this big shift away from traditional media newspapers, TV stations being the only way information gets out. Their role is being, supplemented and often replaced by this constant flow of real-time multi-channel storytelling. Social platforms are now where tons of people get their news, their entertainment, discover things.
Wow.
It just fundamentally changes the power dynamic, you see.
So instead of like begging a journalist to cover your story, brands can just publish it themselves. Is that the idea?
Pretty much, yeah. The material states that this empowers brands to become their own publishers. You don't need that big newspaper feature anymore to reach an audience. You can build your own following, tell your story directly on your blog, your social feeds, newsletters, video series even, well, things like this deep dive. And this changes PR too, fundamentally. PR isn't just press releases anymore. It's about actively engaging with people wherever they are, short videos, interactive posts, live stream.
Right. Engagement.
Exactly.
Yeah.
But there's a catch. And the sources definitely highlighted this challenge. If everyone's a publisher, the amount of content just explodes, right? So you have to be super quick, reacting to trends, being relevant to your specific audience, being ready to jump into conversations basically as they happen. The pace is relentless. And the material also noted, interestingly, that even traditional media outlets are using AI now to personalize news feeds and stuff, which means the expectation for your branded content is higher too. It needs to be sharp, timely, and genuinely valuable.
That's a really crucial point. More power, but also way more noise to cut through and more competition.
Okay, and speaking of where people are consuming content, the sources kept calling social media the main stage.
Yeah.
Where business actually happens now. It's definitely more than just, cat videos.
Oh, not just cat videos anymore. Though those are still important, arguably. But seriously, the sources are really clear on this. Social media platforms are these integrated ecosystems now. People discover brands there, they check reviews, they ask questions, get customer service, and increasingly, they're buying stuff directly on the platform, never even leaving. For SMBs, this was described again and again as a massive opportunity, a chance to punch above their weight was a phrase used, compete on creativity and connection, not just deep pockets.
And short-form video, that got mentioned a lot in the material too, right? Like TikTok, Reels.
Oh yeah. Short-form video is repeatedly called the, quote, hottest ticket right now. In terms of engagement, potential for organic reach, it's huge. That format is just sticky.
But, and this was a strong warning, in the sources, don't just jump on, like, the latest dance trend if it makes zero sense for your brand. That just looks weird. The key is understanding the format quick, engaging, often informal, and finding ways to bring your brand's personality into it. Can you explain something complex quickly? Show a cool behind-the-scenes moment. Offer a useful tip in 60 seconds.
Makes sense. Be relevant to the platform, but true to yourself.
Exactly. And another thing the sources hammered home for social, authenticity. It's everything. Audiences are just so savvy now. They can spot overly polished corporate speak or something fake a mile off. They want real people, real stories. So, show up consistently, be genuine, actually join the conversations. Don't just broadcast. Your followers want to hear from you, feel like they're part of something. The material also pointed out realistically that organic reach is declining on a lot of platforms.
Yeah, I've heard that.
So just posting isn't always enough anymore. You need smart paid strategies, maybe collaborating with the right influencers to make sure your message actually gets seen by the communities you want to reach.
Okay, so we've got AI for efficiency and data smarts, brands becoming publishers, social as the main stage. It feels like we've covered the tech and the platforms. So where does the human element really fit back in? The sources called it the secret sauce, which feels like it connects all these pieces.
It absolutely does. And honestly, this might be the most crucial takeaway from all the source material we looked at. Because while AI is incredibly powerful for tasks, for data, even for generating some content, and the platforms give you the stage, neither AI nor the platform can fake heart or personality or empathy or genuine purpose. And those intangible things are what make a brand stand out in a super crowded world. They build trust. They create that emotional connection. The sources state really clearly the best campaigns, the most loved brands, they're the ones that skillfully blend the technology with its essential human touch. Your role, its strategy, its creative direction, it's building relationships. It's infusing everything with your brand's unique spirit. Use AI for the grunt work, sure, but you have to be the brain and the heart.
The brain and the heart. I like that.
And this loops back to the power of your brand itself. In this world, awash with easily made content, your brand is your anchor. It's that consistent identity, the values you stand for, the promise you make. That's what builds loyalty, keeps people coming back. The sources really emphasize being consistent, being transparent, including about how you use tech, and just clearly showing what makes you you, what makes you different. That's non-negotiable now.
This all sounds like, well, a lot to juggle, especially for smaller businesses, SMBs. Did the sources offer any kind of practical playbook, like key actions for the next 3 years?
They did actually, yeah.
Yeah.
Based on analyzing all these shifts, the material kind of boiled down to several key strategies.
Yeah.
Things businesses, especially SMBs, should really focus on. It's less about being overwhelmed, more about having a clear direction.
Okay, good. What are they?
Okay, first, and we've touched on this quite a bit, embrace AI, but keep it human.
Right.
The playbook isn't let AI run the show. It's use it as this amazing assistant for efficiency, for insights,
Yeah.
but always keep firm human hands on the wheel for strategy, for the core message, the creativity. Don't let the tool drown out your voice. Let it amplify it, brainstorm with it, draft with it, analyze with it, fine, but review, edit, inject your brand, always.
Got it. Keep it human. What's next?
Second, double down on authenticity and transparency. In a world where, let's face it, trust is fragile and deepfakes are a thing, being real is a massive advantage.
Yeah.
The sources suggested things like showing behind-the-scenes stuff, sharing your actual story, maybe even being open about mistakes sometimes, interacting genuinely. People connect with that.
Yeah, vulnerability can be powerful.
Okay, number 3. Third, stay nimble and data-driven. Things change so fast online. The playbook stresses. Watch your performance data constantly. Really listen to audience feedback, comments, messages, reviews. And be ready to test new things or pivot quickly if something's not working. Don't get stuck doing things just because that's how we've always done it. The data in your audience should guide you.
Adapt or,
Really.
well, get left behind. Okay, fourth.
Fourth, prioritize building community, not just collecting followers. This came up a lot. Loyal customers, engaged followers. They become your best marketing team, basically. So actively engage back. Answer comments, do Q&As, maybe create some exclusive stuff for your core group, respond thoughtfully, make people feel like they're insiders, part of something.
Builds loyalty. Makes sense. And the last one.
And fifth, which feels increasingly vital with all this tech, be ethical and responsible. This is broad but important. It covers being transparent about data use, maybe disclosing AI use where it matters, respecting privacy, and also standing for values that align with your brand and resonate with the people you want to reach. Building trust through ethical action is just fundamental.
Those 5 points, AI blend, authenticity, nimbleness, community, ethics, that feels like a really solid, actionable roadmap, and it's pulled right from these sources. So putting it all together, what does this deep dive and the material it's based on really mean for you, the person listening right now, trying to learn and navigate this?
Well, it means that while, yes, the landscape is changing fast and it can seem complex, understanding these core shifts really does give you a clear path forward. It's not about frantically trying to master every single new tool the second it appears. It's more about grasping the underlying currents, right? AI helps efficiency, publishing is decentralizing, social is the hub for connection, and then applying those key strategies we just talked about. Blending tech and touch, being real, staying flexible, building community, acting ethically. The sources basically provide a foundation, a way to make practical choices now that set you up for success. And the sources suggest the future. These next 3 years. Advertising gets, well, smarter, probably more automated, definitely more personalized because of the tech. Maybe a little weird, even.
Maybe a little weird, but the human part
No.
sounds like that gets more important, not less.
Absolutely. That's the constant thread running through everything we looked at. As the tech gets more sophisticated, those irreplaceable human qualities, creativity, empathy, strategy, genuine connection, they become even more valuable. The brands, the people, who win? They'll be the ones who master the tools, sure, but who lead with their unique human insight, who build relationships based on realness and trust.
So we've covered these huge forces, AI as the assistant, brands as publishers, social as the main stage, and that essential human element, the secret sauce holding it together. The sources we dug into, they consistently point to this. Navigating this isn't about fearing the future. It's about embracing the new tools while doubling down on what makes your brand unique and building those real human connections. So here's a thought to maybe mull over, sparked by this source material. In the coming years, success might not just be about the biggest ad budget or the cleverest algorithm. The sources really suggest it'll increasingly be about who tells the most compelling story, who builds the most genuine relationships, and who adapts with that crucial human touch. How can you start weaving that focus into your own work, your own business, maybe starting today? This deep dive is really designed to give you that clear picture straight from the source material on what's happening, why it matters for you, and hopefully some actionable steps to take next. And remember, this exploration was brought to you by My BFF Social. If navigating all these changes in media, marketing, advertising feels a bit daunting, and you're looking for some expert help applying these kinds of strategies, positioning your business for what's next, visit mybffsocial.com, see how they can help you out. Thanks so much for joining this deep dive.